ThisOldConcrete.com presents vertical color staining. Again, we're using the brush method in this video. We're going to be starting off with a few still pictures just to give you an idea of what this job was about overall, but we're mainly going to be talking about the small area of vertical coloring that we did on this particular job. There were two different pours of concrete that needed to be done on this particular job. You can see this one area where there was faded colored concrete, orangish in color. And you can see the color that they wanted in this next slide. Right here you can see this little piece of tile showing the color that they wanted to achieve. And here's the second part of the concrete pour along the side of the house. You can see it's gray in color. It's not orange like the other part. But you can see down the end where the previous contractor tried to use acid stains and it didn't produce very much color at all. This is the side area again. You can see here we took that same piece of tile and we pretty much matched it using the Newlook color products. Our before and after pictures aren't very good, but you can see here a before picture along one side of the pool. And in this next slide we have an after picture. Again, here you can see an after picture, and it's taken a little bit further back than that first picture, so hopefully you can tell it's the same concrete, but in this case this is after the coloring along that same edge of the pool. Okay, just a couple more pictures here of the after, and what we want to focus on is the coping around the edge of the pool, which was a small vertical surface, and what we did to color that area using the brush method. We start off with almost empty buckets. Basically you put a brush load of color down on the bottom of the bucket, or a regular paintbrush load of color, and then you use the round window brushes, the 4-inch window brushes like you see here, for coloring. We have two colors that we're using, a lighter color and a darker color, using the same reddish orangish colors and brown colors that you may have seen in a couple of our previous videos. What we tried here in one method was to put on one color and then use a dry brush to blend it out so we didn't have any streaks or runs. And because of the lightness of the moisture that we had to put on the concrete, we would do a couple of coats. So in this first coat you see us putting down very light moisture and blending it out with a dry brush. Okay, now we're dipping our second brush into the bucket and pulling in the second color, the darker brown color. Again, putting on a little bit and then blending it out with the dry brush. You can see the worker here blending the color out on the sides and on the top. Sometimes when you're putting that color on, a little bit of the color will get on the deck, and you want to blend those out. You don't want to have any blobs that from coloring the vertical surface here, so you blend those out as well. Also notice that we're not blending it uniformly. You want to leave some areas a little darker than others. Here you can especially see the worker going to the top of the deck and blending out any color that may have gotten up there. And there you have the first coat. You can see that it's still quite a bit lighter than the tile around the pool, which is what we're trying to match to. Okay, here we're getting ready for the second coat. By this point we now have a better method of applying the color. Watch how quickly this goes. Here goes the light color, brushing it on all the way across. Here comes the dark color, brushing it on all the way across. And then we take our blending brush, our dry blending brush, and just dab at it. And look how closely that is now matching the tile. Once again, you can see the worker paying attention to the deck, making sure everything is blended well. A little bit of attention to the bottom part of the coping. Yeah, and there you have it. Okay, the things to remember when doing vertical surfaces is that you want to have fairly strong color that you're working with. You want to use very little moisture on your applicator brush. You want to do more coats. And when you're applying the color, use a dry brush to blend things out. So there you have it. With these tips, you're ready to start coloring vertical concrete.